Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. My name is Fumi Moshi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing the need for trauma-informed training in schools. The need for trauma-informed training in schools. So if you are a school owner, administrator, director of studies, academic heads, head of schools, please come forward and let's discuss. According to National Council of State for Education Association 2019, educators do not often receive training in trauma or trauma-informed management techniques. And this is true because I'll use myself as a case study. I did my postgraduate diploma in education in 2011, and there was no course on trauma. Yes, we did psychology of education, but there was nothing on trauma. No course on trauma training. There was no training on trauma communication skills or communication strategies. There was no training on trauma-informed management techniques. There was nothing like trauma literacy. And that is why I went to the field to do a research in this area, because this is a gap that is missing in Nigeria. So my focus here is in Nigeria, though is applicable in other countries. Because according to Jordan et al. 2014, some US studies have previously found an association, a link between post-stress traumatic disorder, PTSD, and academic achievements. You know, there are some traumatized students that are experiencing trauma, right? And you can only identify, and they are, not only are they experiencing trauma, but also experiencing post-stress traumatic disorder, PTSD. And you will only identify this through ADHD, that's the attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder. But if you are not trauma aware, you won't be able to identify this or figure this out or even offer them help. One might say, oh, this is Nigeria, and probably trauma is relatively new. But in Australia, according to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare 2021, it was reported that from birth to 17 years, there is in every classroom, there is a child that has experienced childhood trauma and maltreatment. And in this classroom, in each of these classrooms, you know, there is a child that is dealing with multiple traumas. That child can be in your classroom, Mrs. Ade. That child can be in your classroom, Dr. Akintade. That child can be in your classroom, Dr. Aderokomi. That child can be in your classroom, Mrs. Tolu. How would you help this child? If that child is in your classroom dealing with multiple traumas, dear school owner, how would you help that child? Don't forget, trauma is a triggering event. So if there's an episode, there's a flashback from post-traumatic stress disorder, and your class is disrupted, what would you do, Teacher Nkechi? How would you handle that class? And you want to achieve your learning objectives for that day. Yet you have other students that want to learn. So what are you going to do? Dear school owners, there is a call to address the need for trauma training in our schools to help these traumatized students. We cannot leave them alone to deal with these traumas on their own. Their parents have put them in our care, especially those that are heads of boarding school, those that own boarding schools. We have a lot of work to do. We need to train our teachers, because the level of traumas these children face in the classroom, you cannot imagine. Now, most of these children, these students, take this childhood trauma over into adulthood, and then we have lots of what we are seeing in the society. Dear school owners, kindly invest in trauma training. I am an educational consultant, and I work with a team of trauma-informed professionals that can offer trauma-informed services to your school, that can help train your teachers on trauma training, trauma literacy, trauma awareness, as the case may be. I can be reached via Victoria Omoshi@gmail.com. I hope you have learned something, that there is a call to address trauma training for teachers, because we need to help traumatized students and those who are experiencing PTSD in our schools. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.